we're back. Hi.
What up?
Hey.
So that's right. It is Thursday, and we are back. That's right. The Way the Parents Speak Up crew is right before you. You know how we do it, okay? I know you've seen the flyers. I know you've seen the videos. Let me tell you, it is about to be really, really lit on this podcast tonight. So before I even get into introducing our co-host, I want you to look at that right-hand corner, like on the bottom that says share. Go ahead and click that share because you want your cousin, Pookie, Uncle, Ray, Peaches, all of them to be up on this podcast because it's going to be juicy, okay? So let me calm down, okay? Let me calm down. I got my shirt, fight night, what? Teachers versus students, two special teachers. Everybody want to fight. Throw them bows. Anyway, listen. Let me get into it. Let me introduce one of the best crews on the planet. On the planet.
Yes.
Okay? Yes. We have the beautiful, magnificent Erica. Erica, say what's up.
Hi, guys.
We have the oh-so intelligent, oh-so fly Tamika in the building.
Whoop, whoop.
And, oh boy.
Yo, drum roll.
We have the man of the hour, Mr. Blaine Way. And of course, I'm your girl, Lenny.
Yes, give it up for Lenny.
Okay, so listen, you already know the topic. I know you, unless you were hiding up on a stone, a brick, a cave or something, you already know what's about to go down tonight. I know you've seen it in your news feed. I know you've seen it on the news. But just in case, you just happen to have been on Mars all week, we're going to show you what we're going to talk about tonight. Blaine, come on. You got the footage. But listen, wait. Before we even air the footage, let's get all the good stuff out the way. By no means necessary are we promoting violence on this podcast tonight. We're not promoting people disrespecting teachers or people in authority. We are not promoting that. We're not saying, hey, that's cool. No, we're not doing that. But what we are doing is bringing to you one of the biggest topics this week and coming together, hopefully to talk as adults and maybe come up with some type of solution or some type of idea to trigger some action to be taken the right way. Okay, so great. Now I got the good stuff out of the way. Blaine, go ahead and hit him with it. Go, just give it to him. It's crazy. I wish my child would.
Everybody can you see it?
Yeah, we can see it.
Do the language. We're gonna turn off the volume so you'll only be able to see the video. But basically, at this time frame, the young man is approaching the teacher using belligerent language. The teacher's already walked away, came back, warned the student multiple times, and if you saw it on Facebook, it's about to go down.
Oh, this is good. This is juicy.
Where he's talking smack.
Already, he's warning the student to leave him alone, back up.
This ain't what you want, bro. Ooh.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Ooh, did he fall? Yeah.
Ooh. Look at that.
He like, not today. The teacher is like, not today.
Oh. Oh, Lord, they're screaming.
Now, look, I'm going to stop it here. We don't need to go no further. He basically
stop it here.
So, look, I'm going to go to the next video where we have a teacher that just came back from cancer treatment. Mm-hmm. And she's basically in her class teaching. I don't know exact words what was said, but this is what happens. Oh.
Ooh. Ooh.
Oh, let me wind that back. In case that was too fast for the audience. Let me wind that back.
Bring that back.
So here we go. Somebody grandma, somebody mom, somebody aunt could have been her.
Right.
Straight.
Oh my God.
Straight hit to the jaw.
And she's still concerned about the student right here.
And she's still concerned, and you know what? She didn't even blow up. So
there.
Now back to the show.
So like before we jump to, let me give you a little bit of history about the first video. So this actually took place on last Friday, if I'm not mistaken. It was last Friday at the Maywood Academy High School in California. Okay. And the teacher was a music teacher. He's 64 years old and he is almost facing retirement. So just want to throw that out there. So the thing about it tonight, my issue is like the dude got fired. And apparently some people have an issue with the dude getting fired. What you think? You think he should have got fired?
Well, my perception is, first of all, the student got what he wanted. Not only did the teacher walk away multiple times, the student followed him, hit him with a basketball, was still belligerent, and wanted to fight. Now, as you can tell, the guy is 64 years old. First of all, we all know old school guys. Hey, anybody that's raised in the 80s, from the 80s or 70s, 60s, we already know you don't go around talking junk to an old man because you're gonna get what you asked for. All right. Now, should he have punched him first? No, probably not. But at the same time, the boy got what he wanted. I don't see nothing wrong with him. Swing. Well, no, matter of fact, I don't see nothing wrong with him whooping the kid. Because you know what? He could have been like the old lady that I just showed that was just talking, and he got hit in the jaw. And then what? Then he was probably still got fired. Or it would have been, what could you have done to prevent this? Or this or that. And then teachers are underpaid anyway. Wait a
minute now. He made good money.
Well, look, I mean, he's in California. That's why. Let's be clear on that part. That's California. 80,000 in California is probably like 40 or 50 in reality.
Whatever.
Well, anyway.
He's been teaching for a minute though, so he like on the higher end.
Well, anyway, he got fired from his position because of the altercation that he had, which I think he should not got fired, maybe suspended with pay. Exactly, with pay, because the student asked for that whooping. What made the student think he was, first of all, what made the student think he was comfortable to walk up on a grown man and ask for that smoke, as they call it, ask for the smoke?
No respect, first of all, for authority. So that's number one. Obviously, he doesn't respect authority, that he felt he could just roll up on somebody, an adult at that. And he was calling him all type of, the N-word and cursing him, calling him out of his name and antagonizing him. That's the first time
he's been called the N-word.
But look, it's the whole point is...
He was living during the civil rights movement.
Hey, look. Hey, guess what? Hey, he just had a flashback, say he ain't taking it no more. So guess what?
Yeah, he said, I've been doing this too long.
And he whooped that tail. So look, to me, I don't think he did nothing wrong. I don't think he should have charges pressed. I think really parents need to be held accountable for their kids' behavior at the end of the day, because we don't send our kids to school to sit there and start fights with teachers. If you got a problem, you go back home, you talk to your parent, or you go through the necessary procedures to avoid that situation.
But the problem with that, Blaine, is parents are not on board with teachers. So they take their children's side now. So that's one of the main problems. Back in the day, the teacher could call your parent, you would get a spanking, or you might get in trouble. Now the parents are like, no, I'm on my child's side.
You know what?
And why do you think he should have been suspended? You don't think he should have lost his job, but why do you think he should have been suspended?
I say suspended till the investigation is over. I mean,
that's no investigation. It's
investigation. Hey, by procedures, it should have been an investigation anyway.
And, okay, so you want to talk about procedures?
Look, if you look more into it, this ain't the first time that student done that. Like this ain't a one-time thing that he just walked up on a teacher. This time the teacher reacted. That's what I'm saying. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, since you brought up procedure, okay, the proper procedure in a situation like that in the classroom, which every teacher's probably taught somewhere along the line, somewhere, okay, is if you have a child that is disrupting the class, you are supposed to call to get someone to ask that student to leave the room. If that student refuses to leave the room, you call for some type of administration or something like that to come and remove that student. You don't, by any means necessary, beat down the kid. Like
But
for
who
real,
said-
like dude he should express like some patience
Look,
or something.
who said he didn't? But on that day, look, he did way too punch. Way to punch. That's what he did that day.
But
All right.
see, also, I think the video did show him with the phone in his hand trying to call for help. And at that point when he turned around trying to call for help, the kid threw the basketball, and the girls in the comments of that particular video all said that he threw that basketball in his private parts. So he's
I didn't know that.
That ain't the first time he's been hitting his private parts. He's
But look,
anytime.
But Lenny, he's not getting paid to get hit in the private parts.
Look,
That's not part of his job.
At the end,
When you sign up to be a teacher,
you're not signing up to get abused.
No,
but
absolutely
you
not.
know that
You're not
anything can happen.
But hold up.
Why? But why? It shouldn't be
Okay, so
happening.
look, I'm gonna say this.
2018.
I don't care what year it is. Look, I wasn't a perfect kid growing up myself. But at the same time, I knew not to put hands on a teacher or even swing on a teacher. I already knew it. If whatever I did at the house, whatever I did in school, followed me back to the house. Now, sometimes I was like, okay, I'm gonna take that whooping. But other times, like you don't want, period. You don't want your kid going to school doing the things he just did, and then now it seemed like it's trending. Now it's like you see that. Then this week we seen a woman get punched. There was another video I posted early on Facebook. It was two black
two girls
teenage
howling on
girls.
that woman.
Yo, they was going in on this teacher. I mean, they was beating her down like
I was trying to figure out like when she gonna fight back.
She did.
She probably
couldn't.
She was like,
he did try to fight back, and he knocked her back down in her chair, and they kept going. She even threw a pen in the teacher's face. But my thing is, so let's say the students get beat up somehow. Other teachers come in, they jump her, whatever, defend. Then the parents gonna come in crying, saying, "Oh, you did this to my daughter. Oh, you did that to my son. You did this, you did that." At the same time, don't come crying when a teacher, like the man did, does self-defense, I feel, and whoops his tail because you're not doing it at home. You know, I think the problem with parents is that they sit here, they want to be the best friend. You want to sit here and give them a pat on back. You want to put them on World Star to get likes. You want to sit here and get Facebook famous and everything else instead of correcting them at the house. So then again, they go into school and they being Billy, excuse my language, Billy badass. And you got someone like me, well, I'm like, my own kids don't talk to me that. Come here. I mean, talk to me like that. And then what?
And Kim, there's a Kim on here said that everybody has a breaking point. You're right, Kim. Everybody does have a breaking point. And so because we know that, you know that repercussions come with some breaking points. So like people are protesting, talking about this man don't need to be arrested and don't need to be going through all this. They have a GoFundMe account for this dude. Dude,
and you know what?
Over 100K.
You guess what? And to that guy, if I ain't have kids and had enough money, I would have gave him some money. Because guess what? That dude, I mean, it was self-defense. He walked away.
You can give me some money.
He called security. He called security. He walked away. The kid followed him. He threw a ball at him. All right. Then he warned the kid multiple times. You see him put his stuff down. You see him like, you know, I saw him size the kid up. So that's like a warning already, like, kid, back up. But the kid just kept talking, kept staying there. And he got what he deserved. Now, I would kind of want to move the convo from that guy to the old lady that just came back from cancer treatment, coming back to teach her class, and just basically is just, you know what I'm saying? She's not being belligerent. She's not warning her. She just standing there. She's just talking. And this.
I don't know what she did.
So what's the protocol for that video, Lenny? After she gets punched in the face, what's the protocol after that?
After the student left the building, the student left the classroom.
Well, you know why she left? You know why she left?
The student went to the right place.
We call that a hit and run.
But that is two different situations. You see a woman who is not like bracing up. Dude was like doing his shoulders, gangster, leaning on the student. Like what? The teacher, Mr. Riley, was acting like the child. He was acting just like the child. The woman, Miss Ma'am, grandma, wasn't doing that.
But what if the grandma or the lady did act aggressive and then she
deserved to go too? Grandma got to go
too. No. Because guess what? I don't think she would have hit her straight up because she wasn't acting aggressive. She was sitting here being,
No.
you know,
She was even concerned once the student got removed and she got punched in the face.
Look, that student did a hit and run. She hit, said something, and ran out the class or walked out the class because it was somebody outside that class that she called security and was like, oh, because as soon as the lady walks out, she says, I never said anything to her. And then for the lady to be so calm after getting hit, like, first of all, let it be my mom. Mom, call me. Hey, you did what? Okay.
Oh, we rolling up.
Don't even worry about it.
I'll clean up.
But once again, that goes back to parents. You know what I'm saying? Parents, discipline. I ain't gonna say discipline, but doing something at home. If you know your kid is bad, you can't handle your kid. Why are you sending them to school?
One thing what concerns me also is that whenever these children are belligerent and they're bad in school and they're doing these things in school, what are these parents doing when your child is sent home because they have in-school suspension or now they're suspended from school for acting out or whatever the case may be? Why is it now these parents, like for example, I read some comments where they were saying that the son's parent was upset and they want to hit the teacher fired. And why? Your child, whatever story he told, and this is something that also I don't understand. That's the parents believe the child first thing. They don't do no investigating. I have had my aunt tell me students come straight out parents come straight to the school to get on the teacher and don't even know the whole story. The child done painted some picture to the parent, and now this parent is coming out to the school trying to jump on the teacher. Like
the problem with it,
he can't paint a story. The whole world has seen it.
Yeah,
you know
I think the problem is with parents is they choose to ignore that their child is bad or whatever. It was like he's not causing you a problem in the house. So when something happens at school, it's like, oh, well, I didn't know he did that. Yeah, you been knew he did that.
Right.
That's why you're going through what you're going through at the house. But when something happened at school, it's simply ignored or it's swept underneath the rug until he gets hands put on him. And I just think so. From that point, from seeing these two videos, and I saw that third video, what I said with the girls, let's switch it up. Let's okay. If we can't do nothing to the kid, and the teacher always gets punished and gets fired, let's switch it around. With it now, the parents are accountable for their kids' actions in school.
I agree.
Paying medical
everything.
Now
it's not fair.
Oh well, it's fair to a certain extent.
Some kids are actually disciplined at home. Some kids are actually getting the lives get served to them at home. A parent cannot control what their child decides to do outside of their house.
I'll tell you right now. If my son,
I know one thing: if Faith or Jordan try to do some mess like that, they gonna get mama's hands, and they gonna be the crayon.
But see, that's my thing. If the way I raise my kids and my kid, the way they know how I am, they wouldn't even dare even attempt to put hands on a teacher because they don't want to deal with me. And at the same time, so that lets me know you're not doing what you're supposed to do at the house. Now I know some parents are single parents and they got a lot going on, so I do understand that, and you can't monitor them 24/7. Well, that's the case, I had a friend suggest today on a comment earlier, put them in military school. Military school would change their life.
That's true.
Now you can also
before child under control.
Yeah, but before everybody say it's not affordable for military school, I think they do payment plans too. So you could do. Hey, if you're not making enough, I know you get good enough taxes on income tax. Hey, make a payment. Once a year, make a payment during income tax. Put them in military school. Let them learn some discipline. Let them learn something in life. So then they're not out here.
Gonna, speak on what Lenny was saying and what you were saying too, Blaine. When sometimes you can't control the children. Once they leave out of the house, of course you can instill stuff. So I'm just going to be transparent in this moment. So I have a brother who is 16 years old, and I know for a fact, and many people that are watching that know my family, my mom and dad, how they raise us, the older kids. So I have a younger set of kids, a younger set of siblings, and of course us. And my 16-year-old brother would do everything that we would never have ever thought doing when we were coming up in school, because we were so afraid of our dad. And we put the fear of God in him.
Can you say the example? Can you say an example?
What of what he's done?
Yeah, just like 2 examples at least, so the audience can know.
Roaming the school hallways and not having a hall pass, telling the teachers that he don't care, he's gonna do what he want to do, walks off school campus. You know what I'm saying? And my parents are like, what in the world? They're having to run behind this kid. So, you know, in some situations, I do understand that, you know, children are going to do what they want to do. You know, you can have mom and dad put structure and things in place, but in our situation, we've done everything. This boy, he's done been to juvenile. I'm telling you, this kid is still acting up, disrespectful, don't care.
But your parents are older, but I gotta ask, your parents are older now, right? Way older now than when they raised you. So, I mean, he has a kind of a bigger advantage of, you know, your dad that used to get at you at your age can't get at him the same way now. You know, he's older, and then your mom is older.
But my parents aren't the only one that's there. We do it. We discipline and get on him too. We're young. You know what I'm saying? So
I can completely understand what you're saying. I have a brother right now. Thank God that, oh Jesus, and everybody that knows me knows exactly what brother I'm talking about. And my mom was at a reasonable age raising him, and he didn't have to want for anything, but for some reason he had sticky fingers. But for some reason, you're walking around with the newest Jordans, everything you can have, everything you can even think of wanting, no reason to steal it by any means, and was still from the church. So it's it doesn't matter. Sometimes children are going to do what they want to do when they're away from you, no matter what you try to do as a parent to set them along the right path.
But you hit a key point, Lenny. You hit a key point, and I'm really big on that because I caught it when you said it. You said he has everything he wanted. He has Jordans. He has everything.
He had everything he needed as well. So don't even go that route, because he was very disciplined. We had structure. My mom had lots of structure in her home.
What? No, so I'm not.
The point I'm trying to make is that he had no reason at all to steal the things that he was stealing or to do the other things that he was doing. Thank God that he finally came to the realization. And what you say?
I said, look, I had the phone up, right? And a light came up, and I thought it was a button. I jumped, but hey.
That's so bad.
I know.
That's scary.
Anyway, the point I was trying to make is that as parents, our job is to instill in our children the best we can, structure, correction, teach them how to make the right decisions. But at the end of the day, those decisions are going to have to be made by that child. We should not always be held responsible. It should not always be the go-to solution or the go-to excuse, oh, they have bad parenting. They're not being parented at home, and that's not always the case. Yes, there are some cases where people are not parenting their kids for different reasons. Reasons it can vary from. It could be a single parent home that mom was working 2 or 3 jobs or whatever it could be, but it's not just the parents' fault. I think it's just an overall community thing, like parents and teachers and community working together to make sure our children are being taught how to make the right decision.
Well, you're right when you said community and not against your household, like I was saying, but in other households, some kids are so spoiled and get their way that when they go to school, they have a tantrum. I don't care how old you are, they have tantrums. And when you keep my theory on it is when you keep giving the kid everything they want, and the minute they're told no or they're put in a corner or told to do something for themselves, they have a fit, period. And sometimes that they act out on teachers, which is currently going on now. I mean, I found like 8 videos today of teachers being attacked, period. And it was simple conversations of instructions telling them to do something, and they were just spazzing out. Now, another problem is, I think, which like my daughter's school is, you can't have your cell phone. All right. I agree to disagree at times, because now, kids are doing stuff to become Facebook famous. They're doing it to be a social media, whatever, cool. So certain things they're doing, And for the book or for Instagram, which when we grew up, we wasn't doing that. Like, look, what was the point? Like, we didn't want to get in trouble. We didn't want to go home and get whooped. But now you're doing it. You're becoming famous. You're becoming you're going on shows. You're speaking about it. Like, it's the wrong idea. Actually, social media is probably the worst things, one of the worst things to be created and for this generation.
So what do you think is the appropriate way, Blaine? Because I know you disagree with the way that situation was handled with the teacher in California, Mr. Riley. Is that what his name is, Lenny?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What would you have done, or how would you have handled it? Would you made the parents responsible?
Look, you said, are you asking me if I would have been Mr. Riley?
Well, or the principal, the person that was giving out the punishment.
All right, so I'm gonna say 2 answers. If I had been Mr. Riley, I would have whooped his tail too. Second, if I would have been the principal, I probably gave him a high five and then said, "Hey, I'm gonna suspend your brother for a little while." Hey, but at the end of the day, after seeing the video, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, this teacher's been with the school for years, no problems, and yet we got a student that followed him, kept instigating it, and saying like, "Yo, he wanted that smoke." You know, he wanted it. Now, the problem, and the other problem is the students was hyping him up and kept recording it. They didn't want to break it up, even when the fight started. Hey, they didn't try to break it up between the grown man and him. Like, they told the teacher, "Hey, stop!" Nobody stopped. Instead, another student jumps in and try to jump him. You know, and he turns around and say, "Hey, who else hit me?" You know,
Mm-hmm.
So.
But the other young lady, she didn't get any punishment. They said the principal didn't do anything to her. She punched
Exactly.
that.
So guess what? She should have been better off. And when she got hit, she should have spazzed out. She should have beat the brakes off that.
But why didn't they punish
She
her?
had just came back from cancer treatment. She was probably weak, all kind of stuff.
If I was
Well, you can tell it's not even in her to fight. You can tell she loves children. She was concerned about the student.
And that's the thing. She probably do love students. And you could tell because once she got hit, she didn't even get mad at her. She just like, what? Like, that's the type of woman that I say, hey, look.
But sometimes it's not always the kid. I saw one video from Skyline, I think it's Skyline High School down in Texas somewhere, where where it was a substitute teacher or somebody that was provoking the kid, and it was like cursing at the kid. He even threatened the kid and his family, told the kid that, "Tell your dad I give him the smoke." I mean, like, so it's not always the student. Real talk. Like, it's YouTube it. It's from Skyline High School. When you get a chance, YouTube that. It's crazy. So it was like, sometimes it's not always the student. That's why a lot of times now I'm thinking, well, what happened before the video started?
Well, but
y'all see what Yolanda said in the comments? Yolanda said that in North Carolina, they want to bring back paddling. Can you imagine students?
I remember the paddling.
You know what? Look, I think they should bring it back, but guess what? If they brought it back, it'd be more fights because these students these days ain't gonna sit there and get paddled.
So rebellious,
You paddle them, guess what? You getting swung on.
But see, a lot of that is because their mama saying, "You ain't gonna hit my child. You ain't gonna do it." That's a lot of that where that's gonna come from.
And also, they watch how their parents interact with other people too.
Maybe they need to set traditions.
I see it all the time.
But see, that's what I'm saying.
And then the parents are coming in, pushing counters, and all kinds of stuff.
They acting a fool too.
Right, exactly. So maybe there should be a policy. Let's say we got this student. Every time the mom comes in, when that parent comes in, it's even more drama. Okay, fine. You don't want your student. You don't want your son to get touched, your daughter to get touched. You're gonna be held accountable. All right.
Well, yeah.
You're gonna be held accountable. All right.
You're right. Hold on. Katina pointed out one thing. I'm glad you said that because I meant to say that, Katina. Thank you so much. Katina said that Mr. Riley had issues with the same student in the past, unfortunately. So this is my thing.
I said that.
Wait a minute. Even though he had issues, she should have already knew. Like, you're used to this child acting this way. So
he probably had enough at that point.
No. Issues is not saying that he rolled up on this. That student rolled up on him every time. Issues is saying maybe he was a problem maker every time in the class, That's not saying he rolled up on that
You can tell
teacher.
he's familiar with them because the teacher was like this. The teacher was doing this. You only do this with people you don't have issues with before.
So that means
with a clap.
So guess what? I'm gonna be like him, and I'll be like, he gotta get knocked out today. Okay.
Oh my God! Did y'all see what Velma said? She was like,
"Hey,
I'm not seeing none of this comments. How come y'all?
Hey, Velma girl, did anyone catch the video where the teenager said, you said you was gonna beat my beep, here I am, or something to that degree? So she said, can that be addressed? Is it okay for the teacher to pop off at the mouth and not think that some of these kids won't retaliate even if they're in the wrong?
Well, no, that's wrong. You shouldn't threaten the kid at all, period. If the kid is not sitting here coming at you or anything else, you should not threaten the kid. You should try to dissolve everything. Yeah, period. I don't care.
I say exhaust every measure that you can, but at that moment, if they're fighting you, I believe in self-defense 100%.
I believe in self-defense too, but I'm also mature enough to know that, hey, when I knock this student out, I already know I'm probably gonna lose my job. So I'm gonna make it work. That's probably why he went in and started following the student around. He already knew he was fired.
He about to retire anyway.
He about to retire. He about to retire. He got $72K in his account. Hey, look,
let's go.
Look, I should have been a teacher, so I could retire.
Latoya said, let the parents go to the school and beat their children. See, that's the problem that I think that will never, that's something that wouldn't happen. Parents, some now, I'm not saying all.
So
some parents,
all they got to do is come
everything your child says, and they're not going to go out there and chastise their child because they believe the teacher is in the wrong. They're automatic. That's my child.
You know what?
And not only that, even parents' rights are limited to what they do with their own child.
Let me talk from experience though. So I was one of them parents, and I always thought my son or my daughter could do no wrong. Period. Like they come home, they do the chores, they do everything else. I'm like, hey, I have no problem with my kids. So when I send them to school, and I'm getting emails saying, hey, your son did this, your son got your son got up today. Just walked out of class, go use the bathroom. They ain't raised his hand, nothing. What? That's not my son. Are you serious? She's like, yes. Okay. Other day, he talked back. I said, okay, fine. I'll pop up. So I asked the teacher, this school actually had a room where I could go into the room, sit back, and watch the class. All right. I went in that classroom or that little section, watched them. And sure enough, he was doing everything she said. But I want to say is before you start doubting your kids and saying, oh, they're not doing this, go there and give the teachers a chance and see what's going on. All right. Yeah, we all don't want to believe that our kids are bad. But guess what? When we all grew up, we all did our own things. We always did some kind of trouble. You know I was a troublemaker. I wasn't a troublemaker.
I was an angel in school, so I can't relate.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. Okay. I wasn't an angel. So I already know, let me go check this scenario out.
Why weren't you an angel? Why were you a bad kid?
I wasn't bad. I was misunderstood.
He looked like he was a bad kid.
Bad. I just had so many people coming for me. I wasn't bad. I was a good.
Were you a fighter in school, Lenny?
Lenny was
a fighter by any means necessary.
Oh, okay.
No. I've only been in
got your fighting shirt on, so I was asking.
I'm too cute.
Let's hit. Hey, y'all can post some questions right now. We're gonna hit you back while we still continue the conversation, and then at the same time, we probably gonna open up. Natel said I was bad. Boy, you was worse than me.
You look like you might have been bad.
Yeah.
And Natel was bad, worse than me.
I got one of those kind of dads. You did not want to be bad because you didn't want to make my daddy mad. My daddy is the sweetest, humblest big guy ever. But if I was fearful of even disappointing my dad. I always because my dad would always be like, I'm his little girl. I never want to disappoint him. So do you think I want teacher telling my dad and my mom that I act up? No. Anybody in the comments from my school, y'all know I ain't never get in trouble. Ever. Had a whole bunch of girls.
But look, at the end of the day, at the end of the day, what we used to do back in the day And compare it to 2018, where they actually beating up teachers. Period.
Well, you know what? Hold up. I remember back in 19 something. I remember being in middle school and being in ISS, right? And we were in ISS with the legendary Mr. Blue. And I remember a student walking up on Mr. Blue, man.
Was it bad?
Man, and look, I don't know why this student thought he was gonna be able to take Mr. Blue. Mr. Blue was like every bit of 7'4" to me. I mean, like, so this is not something new, is what I'm trying to say. It's not something new. I remember we had a teacher, Mr. Kine, in high school. The whole class was sit while he was teaching with our middle fingers up in random different places. Like, this is not anything new. Not me. Other people. Hold on, wait a minute. Other people, not me. I mean, so like, this is nothing new.
That wasn't you.
Nothing new. Telling myself, but it's nothing new. The problem is that nobody.
The problem is that these kids they're being sheltered, and then they go to school, and then they can't get touched. Don't walk up on me. Don't talk junk, and think you can't get touched, and you go get your mama or daddy because they can get touched too.
But I believe if we do start accountable, what'd you say, Lenny?
You sound like the substitute teacher out of Texas.
Hey,
I believe if they do start holding parents accountable, we wouldn't have these problems in school, because you are forced to get off your job. You about to lose your job because you're running behind that kid. I believe that these parents will take drastic measures.
Yeah, they would
make sure that their children are not acting up. And I think if we do start making parents accountable, I'm not saying it's their fault, because sometimes these kids are gonna do what they want to do outside the home. If we start making parents accountable, honey, and they start getting tickets and fines and different things, little Johnny, he's not gonna be like that.
And Tamika, I feel like kids should get arrested. If you put your hands on somebody and you assault somebody, get arrested, and the parents have to pick them up down at the police station.
Brandon Way said you should be a pop-up parent. If you know your kid has problems, be a pop-up parent. Pop up on them. And you know what? That was exactly what I did to my son.
Listen.
Guess what? His behavior went from here to down here, because guess what? He was being embarrassed. I was a student. I was that dad that was like, the teacher asked a question. You better raise your hand. You better raise your hand, boy. Oh, he raised his hand. He answered the question. And I was like, hey, anything else he did, he talked out. I know you ain't just talk out a term without raising your hand. I know you ain't just do that.
Oh, dang, I thought he was talking to me for a minute. Oh,
look, he gave us the daddy look.
Hey.
I kind of got nervous, like, for real, like, oh, gosh.
Hey, I don't
do that again. That scared me.
Maybe he had a flashback.
Like, yeah.
But look, hey.
My mom was that pop-up parent. Like, my mom popped with a belt. My mom, my aunt, my uncle, my grandma.
The village girl.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Hey, but look, 8:40, we got one more minute. We're going to open up the lines. We want to hear from the audience what you think about the situation with the teachers students versus the teachers. What you say, Lynn?
I was going to say that's a good point about the pop-up parenting thing.
Yeah.
But the problem is a lot of schools don't allow that.
Oh, what?
Yeah, a lot of schools. A lot of
schools
during
a certain time.
I know they don't allow around.
They don't allow you to walk the hallways, because this is the thing. You got this. This is the problem. You got to think about this from the school's perspective. Okay, you have parents, angry parents. We had a situation not in Hope County, but I remember in Wake County they had a situation where a parent was upset with the teacher. Came in and said that they were coming just to see how the student was operating in class. Blah blah blah. They allowed the parent to walk down the hallway. The parent goes inside the classroom and jumps the teacher.
Whoa!
See, that sound like a personal
So that's what I'm saying. So it's a safety issue as well. But you can't just roam the hallways. You can't just stand out there. And there are going to be times where every administrator cannot walk down the hallway with you.
Well, the one I've done is I've called ahead, and unless they got testing going on, end of the grade testing or some kind of whatever, mid-grade, whatever, I couldn't show up. But basically, they work around my schedule, and I worked around their schedule to pop up. So if they wasn't doing testing, it was okay. Now, if they was doing testing, I couldn't show up. But being a pop-up parent controlled a lot of things, and it helped.
Another way to help control it too is just join the PTA and the PTO, which is something nobody wants to do.
Yep.
Because
you know what? It's nothing against PTO. Look, I don't got all day sitting at 6:30, 7 o'clock, everybody talking.
That's why you become an officer, and that way you can direct the meeting.
Hey, look, man, I ain't got time for that.
That should be another show.
Yeah. We bring somebody from PTO, and then we say, "Hey, tell us why," and then we go from there. But till then, I ain't doing PTO. I ain't got.
It's only $5.
So look, we want to hear from the audience and tell us what you think. So the number to call in is 828-799-0444. All right, I'm gonna say it one more time: 828-799-0444. All right, call in.
Pop up at a daycare. My child went to a daycare that had a camera in the class. Uh-oh.
Thank you for calling WTP Speak Up. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hey guys, it's Yolanda.
Hey Yolanda.
Hey, how you doing?
So my thought for this week is I'm enjoying the topic, but my concern is when the children get arrested. So sometimes you do stuff because of your mindset, because of your age, and you outgrow those things. So if you get arrested in high school several times for different infractions or whatever the case may be, as you get older, that's on your record. And so it hinders you from getting a job. And then it's kind of like a hurdle for you in your adulthood for things you did in your childhood. So I don't know. I'm on the fence with getting arrested for those things.
Okay.
Well,
That's more the reason to arrest them.
I guess, Yolanda, I guess what I was saying from that is if they're assaulting someone, like the old lady that got punched, I feel like that student should have felt what they did was wrong. Nothing happened to the student. Nothing happened, as far as we know, the child was not suspended, but I feel had that child got arrested, had to go down to the police station, their parent had to come down there, fill out a report, and pay this teacher's medical bills, I doubt that child will do something like that in the future. So that's where I was kind of going with that.
That's true, because you know what? That's coming out the parents' money.
Right.
That's true. Because maybe and hopefully, if those things were to come into play, it would only take once to be in handcuffs and in a jail cell or a holding cell, and then to wake up and sit in class and pay attention and let all that foolery go to the wayside.
Right, exactly.
Well, thank you, Yolanda. You always support us every week. We appreciate you.
You do.
All right, y'all have a good night.
You
You
too.
too.
Hey, so I want to read a comment. So I know a couple of weeks back we said teachers that have guns. So Maria Terry Hill said teachers need to carry guns, and an armed veteran needs to be present on campus at all times. Kids are crazy now. Put some old school nuns in the school to pop the behinds.
Thank you for calling WTP Speak Up. What's your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Megan, and I'm calling from, right now I'm in Georgia.
All right. You say your name is Nathan?
Mega, M-E-G-A.
Oh, Mega. Okay. Well, go ahead and say,
Hey, Mega.
Hello.
Lenny, what's up?
Hey.
But anyway, I'm gonna agree with the last person. I really don't agree. I was a product of my environment for a very long time. So I don't really agree with having a child arrested. And I do think society has gotten so soft on kids that on parenting and children that you're not allowed to really parent your child. You chastise your child now, you're going to jail. But you can't do anything with the kids in school. Back then when I was going to school, your teacher could say something to you. They could put you outside the classroom. It was none of this the way they got things going now. So I think those things happen at home. The reason why the kids act out in school and they feel like they're entitled is because they feel like they're entitled at home, and the parents are not really properly chastising the children at home. It started at home. My mom used to tell me a long time ago, if I got to leave my work and come to school, you can best believe I'm gonna bust that tail when
You sound like me.
Oh, that's right.
That's my quota right there.
Thank you, Mega.
That's my point of view.
We appreciate you calling so much.
All right.
Thank you, Megan.
All right, Megan.
Next caller. Call in. That was somebody else that had called in.
Hey, so look. Well, that being said, look, I totally agree with Megan. Look, if you gotta you taking money out my pocket because I gotta leave work to come handle you. Oh, we gonna have some issues.
Right.
Period. And so do you think that teachers have weapons now being based off some type of weapon? Maybe not guns.
We have another caller.
I see. We hotline tonight.
Welcome to WTP Speak Up. What's your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Adrian, and I am calling from Raleigh.
Hey, Adrian.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi, y'all.
What's your comment, girl?
Well, speaking as a mom who raised a son, my son is 18 years old now. From day one, raising him, he knew not to cut up, period. He even knows now. I can give him a look, and he knows, straighten up. It's just point blank. I don't play.
Right.
Okay? When it comes to the kids and stuff at school, and they're cutting up, I saw this video recently. I would be locked up because I would have straight whooped that little girl's behind for real. And when they say something about, I heard the comments about people saying that the kids should not be locked up. I feel that there should be consequences. Maybe not a lockup as far as like they're locked up and this is going to be on their record or whatever, but there should be some juvenile type of detention so that they know. Or they need some old school or parents like me. Try me and your child coming home with a black eye. If I'm a black eye, you're gonna wear a black eye. So,
thank you, Adrian.
That's just how it is.
Yeah.
I just feel like a lot of times these parents are lenient on their kids, and it's not fair to the people who have to teach the children. If I have to teach your child for 8 hours of the day and your child cuts up or whatever, I used to tell my son, when you're in the presence of that teacher is your mama. If you're not gonna cut up with me, you're not gonna cut up with them.
That's it.
And if you do, I will bust you behind when you get home.
Come on, mama. Come on.
And that's just what, but see, the thing is, these parents are not doing that at home.
That's true.
They're allowing Johnny and Billy and Sarah to have time out. Time out is fine. But when we come out of time out, we didn't know why we were, we did what we did. And time out is your first offense. The second offense is a switch, belt, whatever. They can say what they want to. I will be that mother that will go to jail, but my child won't.
I know that's right. Well,
Because
thank you,
Adrian. His behind will be
Thank
busted.
you, Adrian. I know that's right.
I know, that is right. Yes, mama. Thank you, girl.
You have some kids.
Hey, thank you for calling in.
You have some kids that come to school like, my mama said, if you say so and so, so and so, you got some parents actually telling their kids what to say and what to do to the teachers.
Bring your mama in, bring you in, and we can get it down. Okay? That's all I gotta say about it. I could not be a teacher in today's society. 2018, I'd have been locked up. My own kids don't talk to me like that way. And you think a random kid's gonna talk to me that way? No.
Truth be told, people do not know the half of what teachers go through every single day.
I'm sure
they don't understand. You got to think about. My heart goes out to the teachers because you got to think about we're dealing with 1 or 2 or 3 kids. They're dealing with 30 kids in one classroom setting at one time by themselves. But all these different types of attitudes come from all these different types of backgrounds, and they're handling our children on top of dealing with their emotional issues, their behavior issues, their speech issues, whatever the issues is, and still trying to teach them so that they can be better human beings or whatever. That's a lot of pressure on a teacher. So, I mean, I'm still standing behind that man getting fired, but at the same time, I think that parents, sometimes I think we should just switch roles. I think sometimes we should bring parents in so parents can have to teach that class and see if they can handle that class.
That's a good idea, but you know what? That would be bad too, because you switch me, and then once the student say something to me, I'm like, come here, bow, there we go, locked up,
in jail.
Hey, and we ain't even getting that part, but once again, the number to call in to still voice your opinion before we head out for the last 10 minutes. Is 82. Yeah, I mean, this time went by quick.
Yes.
828-799-0444. All right. Call in, speak up, what's your opinion? Let us know how you feel, what you thinking, and how you feel about the whole students fighting teachers. I mean, that could be your mom, that could be your aunt, that could be your grandma, like.
But you know what, guys? Ultimately, if the parents don't get this under control, that kid's going to end up getting shot, and I mean by authorities. They're going to end up dead.
Well, I mean, if you look at the percentage and you look at the stats, most of these kids that are like that, they do end up in jail or dead. I mean, so it's just parents need to get more involved. You can't just send your kids to school and say, okay, they got them. You know, they're going to raise my kids for me. You got to be involved. My kids go to school. Yes. Right. Okay. They do something. They're held accountable for it. All right. They come home. I check in between them, whatever. Like, you got to stay involved with the kids, period. There's too much social media going on. It's too much influence going on. It's not as much influence as we had when we was growing up, because it was only the friends you was hanging around with. Now it's everything. It's YouTube. It's social media. It's every time you see something, someone going viral on something stupid. So now you got a tons of influencing your child that we didn't have. And some parents may not understand that. Some parents are, I like to call it, babies having babies.
Yes.
You know, some are babies having babies. They don't even understand what they need to do themselves to take care of their own child. And yet they're sitting here posting a little kid on WorldStar, smoking, twerking, whatever it is for the book, and thinking it's cool. So then what you're doing is you're raising a teenager or a kid that think it's okay when they go to school. And then you're getting that same outcome that you were seeing today. That's how I feel about it.
Enforce counseling when you see a child that is acting out in school, and if it's maybe a consistent behavior, and you're trying to reach out to the parent and get the parent to be involved, and you're trying to find ways to kind of handle the student's behavior, maybe the school could possibly come up with programs that will suggest that the parent and the student come together for some type of counseling. Maybe they can utilize the guidance counselors at the school and say, hey, well, what's going on at home? What is this child dealing with at home? Because there could be some underlying issues, even if it's not directly in their home. Maybe they feel misunderstood because they're silently bullied on the playground, or silently bullied in band, or, you know, whatever. So there's multiple reasons as to why a child can act up. There's still no excuse. But got a caller. Thank you so much for calling in to WTP Speak Up. What is your name and where are you calling from?
This is Shanara, and I'm from Houston.
Hey, Shanara.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
So my thought on it is we've lost the care of teachers. They're now doing it for paychecks. We've lost the community. We've lost the parenting. We've lost a lot of things in the home first, and then it goes down the line. It all starts in the home first. We have to parent our children the right way for them to understand you don't go to school and act up. My kids understand if I have to come to school, I'm whooping everybody's tail.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Shanara, I don't mean to cut you off. I got a question now. But you said teachers just doing for a paycheck, right?
We ain't making no money.
Yeah, they're not.
Well, and this is what I mean by that. It's not, there used to be teachers when I was growing up, there was teachers that did it literally because they cared. The teachers ain't never made no money. I understand what, the teachers have to go through. And I'm not saying that for all teachers. However, I'm saying they just go there to do work, and then, it's no care in it. It's literally just, this is my job, instead of putting your heart and soul into what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? It's no passion in it. When I was growing up, I had a fourth grade teacher that literally said, I will whoop your butt if I was doing something wrong, or she seen me, you know, doing something that I didn't have no business doing, or hanging around people I didn't have no business hanging around. Literally, she would tell me, I will whoop your butt. And then when it came down to it, if my mom got involved, she would tell my mom, I'll get her. And my mom told her, that's fine, because my mom knew she cared.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's a difference when my kids have been assaulted by teachers and they weren't doing anything. My kids have been assaulted by police officers at the school and they weren't doing anything.
Wow.
There's a difference between the teacher that cares for their children, their students, versus the teachers that's just there for a paycheck. That's what I mean. Wow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And, hey, you're right on that. But at the same time, you can't compare them teachers that send texts to every other teacher. That makes sense.
No, I'm not comparing them. I'm saying that there are those who do it. And like, for instance, in my situation, just recently, I don't know if you've seen my post, Blaine, but my daughter was assaulted by a police officer.
I saw that.
Because, you know, a fight that another student started. And the teachers, because she was the biggest one, the teachers literally told the officer to go for her. She wasn't even doing anything. Wow. And they hemmed up my daughter, you know, for no reason. Her sisters. So, in other words, it's basically, it really has to start at home, but then you're going to have people who truly care about these students, because these students are coming from different types of households. I mean, you know, there are parents who just don't care. I'm very involved. I am part of PTO. I, you know, make sure I am a pop-up parent. But, you know, there are so many things that are happening, so many dynamics that are going on that, you know what I'm saying, if you do not have the parents that are actually training their children and teaching their children first, and then the teachers that actually care, there's going to be, you know, imbalance somewhere. Right. There are going to be kids that are lost in the cracks because they don't know what these kids are going through at home. Their kids are being abused or aren't eating, you know, or all of that. But if you got a teacher that actually cares, there are things that you can spot with children that you can actually tell that there's something wrong more than just what they're doing at school.
Right. Thank you.
I'd like to say thank you for calling in and voicing your opinion. That was very informative on your situation. Sorry you had to go through that.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, so I also want to cover something else. Anthony Jackson Jr., one of my good friends, he also said something about that same thing that Shanara said, is that he met a lot of teachers that accepted teaching in the inner city for 2 years just to get their student loans forgiven. So that's kind of like what she said. Some of the teachers are in the inner city. We're not saying everybody does it, but we're saying that there are some teachers that are out there that are just doing it just to get the check, get stuff forgiven. I'm not saying that every teacher don't care, but at the same time, you can't tell every teacher to care too with badass kids. Excuse my language, but
you can't expect every teacher to go all out and care too when the parent doesn't care.
That is true.
As parents, we teach others how to handle our children, and they're going to do what they see us do. I think that a lot of times people as parents, we push off so much on teachers that we force them to be the parent when they're not the parent. They didn't carry that child for 9 months. You did. And I think that a lot of times that, and I do know that everywhere, in every situation, no matter what job you have, what title you carry, there are going to be a small group of people who are only doing it for the paycheck. Real talk. But that the majority of those people are doing it. It's not possible. I'm sorry. It is not possible for someone to teach children and not do it because they literally care. They genuinely care for students. It's not possible.
And look,
I mean, all the stuff they have to do is sacrifice. I mean, you know, they get a small salary to stay for they work 24 hours a day.
But at the end of the day, I saw, before we close this off, I want to say this. I want to get some quick words, and I'll say we'll add 5 more minutes just for call-ins. But somebody else said it happens. This behavior happens because the kids should be taught at a young age. All right. So I kind of agree with that, because at the same time, young age, the kids, you should already be setting the standard for that kid already. So when they get to that age, let's say they start school 6? They start school at 6. They already know And then I'm not saying be strict with them at 4 and younger or 5 and younger, but as they grow and they mature, you ramp up your consequences and everything else. So when they go to school, they know that, not to go there fighting teachers, not to go there disrespecting teachers, not to go there doing everything that's being done now, because of the consequences that can be hindered upon them. I don't think that's being done today. I think a lot of stuff is being done for Facebook. A lot of things, like I said, once again, is being done for likes, and it just gone away from how we was raised, the older generation was raised, to how it is raised now, and that's my thoughts on it. And we got 4 minutes left. So once again, I'm trying to find a number. Again, it's 828-799-0444. Hey, call in, speak up, what's your opinion? Huh?
I said, we'll take one last call.
Why am I getting called?
I bet you Mr. Riley gonna go on vacation with all this money. I don't people feel stupid. Shit, I might need to holler at him though and see if he's single.
Listen, he was just experiencing emotional distress. He's
that dude got called. Look. For every $200 plus $1,000, I might need to take a swing too.
Yeah, but y'all know that ain't a whole lot of money when it comes to trying to pay your bills and you.
What are you talking about, girl?
Lawyer fees.
I will move to the lowest paying state.
But now it's cut off and going forward to pay his bills. He's 60-something years old. Is somebody going to hire him for another role? That's not a lot of money. After 3-4 months, you live in California and that.
Teach people how to fight.
All right, we have another caller. Thank you so much for calling WTP Speak Up. What's your name? Hello? Where are you calling from? Hi.
Hi.
How are you? What's your comment?
I was just calling to make a comment. So,
is this Jessica?
Yeah. Hey, it's Jessica.
Hey.
Hey. Oh, I'm sorry. We forgot to say what's your name and where are you calling from, Jessica?
Oh, okay. My name is Jessica. I'm calling from Hope Mills, North Carolina. It kind of cut off. Sorry.
No problem.
So I just wanted to say this. I'm in North Carolina, from Georgia, and a school from my hometown has this big ordeal on the news right now where they've actually brought back the paddle, and it's been a big ordeal there. And honestly, the parents had to consent to that. To say yes. It's okay for you to do this to my kid. No, it's not. But you kind of wonder, maybe that's something that should be brought back, just to let those kids know that there is a discipline. There's something in place to where you can't act like that. You can't treat teachers that way.
I agree. Thank you, Jessica.
I agree to a certain extent, but like I said, if kids are already fighting teachers, you think you're gonna get, and they're getting paddled, what make you think they ain't gonna fight the principal?
Yeah,
but I think if it's something that the parents agree to.
I know one principal they're not firing.
They
ain't fighting mine.
Right, hey, let her finish. Hey, go ahead, Jessica. Finish off.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, and that that's a possibility. But I think that I think it would bring more structure, maybe.
Right.
Hey, I totally agree, Jessica, with you. I wish they would bring a paddle in and whoop some of these kids because they're bad. But
yeah.
So
what?
Thank you.
Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, thank you for calling in, Jessica.
What did I cut? Oh my God, did I cut you off, Blaine? I'm sorry.
I mean, it's too late. You already did it.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Do you want me to have Jessica call back in?
No, you already cut me off.
I apologize. I was thinking he was wrapping it up. So
okay.
He probably deserved it. He probably deserved it.
Yeah, we'll give. I'll send you some hearing aid for Christmas.
Thank you, Jessica. I appreciate you. I apologize if I cut you off, Jessica.
Well, look, look, my very problem again. God, I'm not about to entertain Velma Mac tonight. So, anyway.
What's she say?
I don't know. I ain't read the rest of it. I don't feel like it. I'm sad at war with her.
Miss Mac ain't got to worry about none of her
Hey,
kids.
Velma. You lost for Velma, so you're not at war anymore.
Exactly, because he
I'm still at
lost.
war. Hey, so
Velma
look.
tore you out.
I like to thank everybody for tuning in tonight.
Velma Mac
Listen,
don't
to me,
have
he trying to wrap it up.
nothing.
Look. Don't make me mute all of y'all.
You don't want us to say what Velma said.
Hey, look.
Thank you, Velma, because you get him all the way together.
Okay.
Look at that, Velma. Look.
Y'all trying me. Who want to get muted first?
Velma, post something else. He shook.
Oh, there go one. Who next? Okay.
What?
So, yeah, I'm gonna mute you right now.
Velma.
So look,
You don't want us to say what Velma called him. That's what it is.
she muted too.
Velma, say something else to BJ.
Okay, you're muted. Hey, everybody muted except for me. So guess what? That's what time it is. It's time to go. Hey, thank y'all for everybody for tuning in tonight, joining the conversation. The team is gonna wave at you because they're muted basically. So have a good night. I'm gonna mute them real quick. Have a good night, and
Have a good night, guys.
we'll catch y'all next week.
Abuse of power. This is an abuse of power. This is why you don't
What we
give
got for
people with complexes power.
All right. Well, guess what? Sue me. Hey.
Big
No, I'm gonna call Mr. Riley. I'm gonna tell Mr. Riley put them hands on you.
All right. Goodbye. We gone.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Y'all just wait.